Are you ready to get chipped? Are you ready to be tracked by the government? Are you ready to own nothing and be happy? If you said yes to all these things, welcome aboard 2030 and even 2022. The World Economic Forum has all that stuff and more. Sign up today.
I'm excited.
And get the chip. It will be numbered 666, the wonderful number that we all heard about.
I'm getting mine right here.
Right on your forehead?
Are you going to get on your hand?
Mine right on my wrist.
On
yeah,
your wrist?
like
nice.
somewhere here.
Make sure it's on your right wrist.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely getting it there. And welcome back to the Lions Awaken show, where we're going to be talking about the World Economic Forum that just happened, the meeting that just happened in Davos, Switzerland. Talking about Klaus Schwab, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the Great Reset, whatever you want to call it, all those things. They just had their meeting there where a bunch of elitists, like Ben Shapiro says, elitists, who literally think they're kings and queens, can do whatever they want to humanity, think they know better than me or you how to run our lives. And Caleb, give us a recap of what the heck went on. What's going on here?
Well, they basically talked about how to rule the world and how to get us to follow them. They have beautiful buzzwords like climate change and, ending world poverty and all that good stuff that does sound amazing and sounds right, but it's just a way, it's just words that they're using to mask what their real motives are.
And that is up here, and individual liberty is like
that's right.
Down here. That's
right.
The problem. It should be flip-flopped.
Exactly.
But anyway,
yeah.
Who is World Economic Forum? What is that?
Well, it is a forum that was founded in 1971 by German engineer and economist Klaus Schwab. Hail Schwab. I love Schwab. He's my role model. Want to be him when I grow up. It was first named the European Management Forum, but it changed its name to the World Economic Forum in 1987 because it sought to broaden its vision to include providing a platform for resolving international conflicts instead of just European ones. The forum is a non-government organization, and it believes that a globalized world is best managed by a self-selected coalition of multinational corporations, governments, and civil society organizations. They have initiatives like the Great Reset, Build Back Better, the Global Redesign, the Fourth Industrial Revolution. These are their slogans. These are what they promote. They promote these things in times of global instability, like the COVID-19 pandemic and the financial crisis of 2008. And they basically see these as windows of opportunity to push their agenda. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of these guys are behind a lot of these pandemics and crises so that they can come in as like the heroes with these solutions. And the only price is your freedom, though. That's the only price.
Oh, yeah. It's so freedom. Worth giving it up for global peace.
Oh, I know. These guys are the World Economic Forum, really, if we want to just be real about it, it's the beast in Revelation 13, I believe.
Can you just tell me what you really think about the World Economic Forum?
I really do believe.
So who is the beast in the World Economic Forum out of all the people?
I think they're all collectively the beast. Are they? Maybe, or maybe it's just Klaus Schwab, Hail Schwab, or George Soros.
Bill
Gates, huge contributors.
It's funny how Bill Gates always has the solution to the biggest crisis in the world. Bill Gates already is way ahead of time and has a business that actually makes that kind of stuff. Like, for example, I think in 2020 he started a new company making artificial breast milk, and now we have a breast milk shortage. Yep. Interesting. How did he see that coming? Huh?
I don't know. He's a prophet.
Maybe he's just a prophet. Maybe he hears from the Lord.
I think so.
Yeah, proud from the Lord that wants to get rid of half the population or something through birth control and abortion.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there is no God, so let's make a company that controls the world and solves solutions because we are God.
That's right.
Oh, World Economic Forum. There you go. Boom.
You got it. But if you look at who's involved in this forum, or who comes to this forum, and who supports it, who contributes to it, it is people like George Soros himself, Bill Gates, Justin Trudeau, Zelensky, Ukrainian president.
Zelensky was one of the big speakers.
Prince Charles of UK, even not president, fake president Joe Biden.
The wannabe president.
The wannabe. Then you have the World Health Organization, also in bed with the World Economic Forum. So
European Union, right?
European Union, yep.
The EU.
Mm-hmm.
European. Okay, what's the other one? United Nations.
United Nations, yeah.
Yeah, because their 2030 agenda is basically combined with World Economic Forum, I think, right?
Yep.
Like they have all these great slogans and buzzwords.
They're all in bed with each other.
They are. They really are. And one of the big vendors there was Meta.
Oh, the metaverse.
Metaverse, Facebook, Intel, all these technology companies. They even set up a shop that was called Russia War Crimes. They have. I think they almost hate Putin as much as they do Trump, if not more.
If not more. Man.
I mean, and the thing is, those two, we said this before in our previous podcast, that two things those people have in common is that they are nationalists.
Exactly.
They put their country before the world because each country has a God-given mandate to take care of their own country. Exactly. We're not supposed to take care of Africa before we take care of our own country. Like,
that's racist.
It's heresy compared to the Bible. But these people don't believe in the Bible or anything.
No, they don't.
And one of the things that's really, they have a World Economic Forum. They have a YouTube page, of course, and they have a 14-minute video on there about the fourth industrial revolution. And when you watch that, it actually makes like the hair stand up on your neck and your toes curl, because they talk about the fourth industrial revolution is about fusing physical, technological, and biology together. So they basically want to make us like transhumanism, right? Which is, what exactly is transhumanism?
Transhumanism is basically mixing, splicing DNA either with animals and humans or technology and human DNA. It's basically Nephilim 2.0. It's mixing human DNA with something other than human DNA. It's mixing your DNA where you're no longer just human, you're transhuman, you're something beyond human. And so
trying to replace the image of God with something they create. Because they talk about never dying, right? They talk about eternal life on earth. Immortality with technology. And this one lady in this video is saying, yeah, someday we're not going to be able to we're not going to be able to discern what is natural and what is unnatural. That's artificial. Yeah. Like they want to make us all basically robots. And another scary thing is Yuval Noah, who's one of the scientists under Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum. He's an Israeli. He's gay, hates God in the Bible, says that's all a myth and all this stuff. And he said that humans are just hackable creatures. That's literally what he said. We are going to be hackable creatures, be able to control us, and that we are the last generation of Homo sapiens. Our generation after this is going to be created by man.
And it's really interesting when you actually study this stuff, because in the Bible, when it says that when you take this mark of the beast, that you basically are irredeemable. You cannot get salvation after you take this mark. Well, there is speculation, there's theories out there that this mark could be something that's implanted inside you that actually transforms your DNA. That's why you can no longer be saved, because you're not made in the image of God anymore. You're made in a completely new image. You're no longer human. So therefore you can't be saved because you're no longer human. Just like the Nephilim giants in the Bible, they could not be saved. They had to be destroyed because they were not made in God's image.
Which is who the Israelites destroyed in the Promised Land, right?
Exactly, yeah. After
the
flood.
They destroyed women, children, animals, everything.
Because their DNA was tainted.
Right.
So,
but do you think also after like the chip or the mark of the beast, whatever, do you think the reason they won't be able to save as well is because they won't actually be able to think for themselves? Like they're actually going to be controlled?
That could definitely be it as well. I mean, they would first have to willingly give themselves over to that.
You have a choice.
In order for that. Because if the chip is mandatory placed inside you without you not wanting it, I think there's got to be some sort of grace or something. Like if the government literally holds you down against your will,
right? I mean, you can't do anything about it.
You can't do anything, and I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll just kill you. Like I think the beast will want you to willfully give yourself over to him, just like God desires us to willfully.
He's going to imitate God. Yeah,
exactly.
Yep. He'll just make examples out of the people that don't want to take it.
Exactly. But it is crazy. Like
scary.
This stuff is literally talked about in the Bible. Like these people, like I believe this global cabal, like the Bible talks about the Illuminati. They absolutely do.
So many times.
If you look at Psalms 2, which I'm going to read right now, it says, quote, "Why do the nations rage and the peoples plot in vain? The kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, quote, let us burst their bonds apart and cast away their cords from us," end quote. "But he who sits in heaven laughs, the Lord holds them in derision." So I think these kings that David's talking about in his time, like if you fast forward, like those kings of the earth plotting against the Lord now, these are the people in the economic forum. These are the people who are for the LGBTQ agenda. These are the people who are for, bringing forth all the faiths together to create like this one world faith. These are the people who want to create a one world economic system, a one world governmental system. These are the people who have the Antichrist spirit agenda inside of them and that they're pushing for.
They literally talk about global, like one world thing. German Vice Chancellor Robert Habeck said countries should resist temptation to look after their own interests first. And he said that, to look after their own interests first. That is literally saying you need to put the world ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
But sorry, you were going to read Psalms 2, were you?
I just read Psalms. There's another one, Psalms 9.
Psalms 9, yeah.
That talks about kind of what we're talking about with the immortality and putting the chip in you to, become no more mortal. You become immortal. You become, you escape death, really. And it says in Psalms 9, 17 to 20, "The wicked will go down to the grave. This is the fate of all the nations who ignore God. But the needy will not be ignored forever. The hopes of the poor will not always be crushed." And then it says in this, in 19, verse 20, "Arise, O Lord, do not let mere mortals defy you. Judge the nations, make them tremble in fear, O Lord. Let the nations know they are merely human." I love that. I love that a lot because these people are human. They claim to be gods.
Merely human.
They claim to be untouchable. They really do.
They do.
But they're only human.
They are.
And even if they create this chip that, extends their life, I don't think it'll make them immortal. But even if it extends their life, they're still going to go down.
Exactly.
And they're not going to win against God. They're mere mortals. They're dust.
Yeah. Compared to God, like, they are just literally dust. Literally. God created them out of dust. Created all of us out of dust.
Yeah.
And he's going to have the final say. We're going to win this battle in the end. Doesn't matter how long they live on earth. We're going to rule over them.
That's right.
Jesus is going to rule over them, and we're going to rule with Jesus. Rule and reign. Hallelujah.
For real.
But there were a lot of companies there, advertising their great new inventions, and this, Alibaba Group, which you viewers and listeners probably have heard of before. I think it's like a Chinese e-commerce website where you like buy stuff cheap and then you resell it. But they came out with this new individual carbon footprint tracker. And when he was asked, what does that mean? He answered and said, he asked himself, what does that mean? And this is a Canadian-born president of this group, J. Michael Evans. He said the technology would monitor where are they, the consumer, traveling, how are they traveling, what are they eating, and what are they consuming on the platform. Basically saying they are controlled at everything they do. And it'll start out with, I want to help climate change because I believe that if we don't help it, I'm going to die in 12 years, and that's why I don't want to have any kids. That's why kids are a nuisance and not a blessing and all this stuff.
Yep.
I mean, just the idea of climate change, that thought, it just opens the door to so many other unbiblical beliefs and ungodly beliefs. But anyway, it starts out with, I'm going to input, I'm drinking, water out of a glass today, so I'm going to put this in to say, I get +5 added to my score because I'm not drinking out of plastic, Yeah. I traveled today, I used up so many gallons of gas, or I used electric. I got another more points. I mean, soon we're going to have the green social credit score like China has. Like this, they're literally trying to implement it around the world in the name of solving problems.
Yep. And
it leads to total government control.
It really does. And, the World Economic Forum is pushing this known traveler traveler digital identity, which is basically a digital passport. They want to get rid of paper passports, and the government of Canada is on board with this. The government of the Netherlands, and I think you said the Ukrainian government is in it too. And basically, you have a digital ID instead of a paper ID, and they will know they'll have facial recognition, they'll have your biometrics, but it's all in the name of convenience. It's all in the name of easier travel. It's
and
more
green. You don't have to cut down trees because it's not on paper
now. It's more
now.
green.
But you have to mine.
What's the price?
To make electronic? If you think through this, you still have to dig up.
You still have to dig
to get the components and the minerals to make a technology device.
But it's not as much as paper. That's what they would say.
Yeah, but it's way more actually.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but the point is that this may be more convenient, but it's like you sacrifice your privacy.
Exactly.
And you sacrifice. The government has your biometrics, your facial recognition. Like, that's sketchy stuff. That's stuff that's George Orwell type stuff, 1984.
I mean, they already have a lot of that stuff.
They already have a lot of it, but it's just crazy how people are willingly
to give it up. They don't think about what they could do with it. That's the thing.
But I do want to mention, though, because we talked about Trump and Putin, how much they hate them because they're nationalists. I do want to kind of quote some of what Trump said when he went to the World Economic Forum back in January of 2020.
Where he went there, just bragged about America.
He literally went there. His main speech was just how his accomplishments and how America is the greatest nation on earth.
Come on, that is a patriot, bro.
But I do want to say these specific quotes here because they are amazing. So in a speech just minutes before, teenage activist Greta Thunberg, who everyone knows is the climate prophetess of our age, who
was that before her blah 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 speech?
That is the blah, blah, blah.
Was that her blah, blah, blah speech?
It was before the blah, blah, blah speech. The Trump speech was before this. So Trump said, quote, "This is not a time of pessimism. This is a time for optimism. To embrace the possibilities of tomorrow, we must reject the perennial prophets of doom and their predictions of the apocalypse," a.k.a. Greta Thunberg. Then he went on to say, "They are the heirs of yesterday's foolish fortune tellers," end quote. And then he continued. He said, quote, "They predicted an overpopulation crisis in the 1960s, mass starvation in the 70s, and an end of oil in the 1990s. These alarmists always demand the same thing: absolute power to dominate, transform, and control every aspect of our lives. But we will never let radical socialists destroy our economy, wreck our country, or eradicate our liberty," end quote. That's what Donald Trump said at the World Economic Forum in front of all those globalist elitists who are the cabal, who are the Illuminati, who are trying to take over you and I's freedom. And no wonder they hate him.
No wonder they hate that man. Because he's like...
With a fiery passion.
Yeah. Because he just exposed them right there.
He was the one standing in their way of their agendas.
And multiple people come out and said that, I believe, that Donald Trump is the biggest obstacle to world peace and solving world poverty and all this stuff. And but people jumping on this media bandwagon also of like the whole Ukraine-Russian thing. Like George Soros' speech at the event was all about Ukraine and Russia and how free democracy and open societies and all this stuff. But yet he's the one trying to take down America. Like that has been documented.
Yeah.
But it's like, would you rather be ruled or live under Putin, who is a nationalist and who might have some control, restrict some freedoms, but he at least has some morality, moral laws,
he's
like
anti-abortion,
anti-LGBTQ, which World Economic Forum is huge into that. They're all about inclusivity and diversity, but they don't have many Christians they're speaking or any, American nationalists they're speaking.
Yep.
It's all diverse under if they agree with them.
Exactly.
On certain things.
It's all external diversity.
Yeah, external. Yeah.
Oh, you're black, you're Asian, you're gay, you're trans. Like, though it's not value diversity or ideas.
Philosophical diversity. But anyway, it's like, would you rather live under Putin or under the one world government? Like, that's a valid question. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So before we go hating on Putin so much and being on the one world government side, I mean, yes, Putin is not perfect, but it's just a question I like to throw out there to stir up the pot a little bit.
That's right.
And people that say that the one world government, the cabal, does not affect our lives, I think are absolutely ignorant, because the policies that these people want to pass, and they will under Biden, it will affect us. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, the Norwegian finance CEO, Kirsten Brothen, I'm probably butchering that name, she described the global energy crisis as a necessary transition toward green energy. And she said that even though everyone can expect to experience mass shortages of oil and gas and severe economic hardship, the pain will be, quote, worth it.
Worth it.
Like, they will force us to give up certain things for their agenda without consulting us, without us having a say. And that will affect us. But the bottom line is that we have Jesus, the sustainer, the provider, everything we need.
The king.
The king of all kings and Lord of all lords. That's right. He's going to come save us at the end.
That's right. I want to live. You asked that question, who would you rather live under, the one world government or Putin? Neither. I want to live under one world government under Jesus.
That's right.
And it's a monarchy, by the way.
That's right.
It's a kingdom, not a republic or a democracy. Anyway, I'm just.
That's right.
But yeah.
That'll be awesome. Ruling under Jesus someday.
Perfect righteousness, perfect justice, perfect peace.
Because he's going to come back on this earth, and we're going to restore the earth, right?
I believe
According
so.
to the Bible?
I believe so.
That's going to be legit.
Yeah, that's going to be.
What country are you going to rule over?
I'm probably going to have all of Canada and Greenland.
Nice.
And I'll probably conquer all of Europe and oh wait, can you not conquer in the millennial reign?
I don't know.
I think God's gonna have worlds for us to rule and reign over.
I think so.
All those balls in the sky, billions and trillions of them. I mean, what are they for?
To rule
and reign, I think, personally. But I know a lot.
Dude, God could have. I mean, he's God. He could have billions of other worlds that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
With other life on or whatever.
That's another episode right there.
For real. For real.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we basically exposed WEF, World Economic Forum, and kind of what their interests are, because I think a lot of people don't really know what they are, who they are, what their plans are. But also, thank God, Rebel News have a lot of articles about World Economic Forum. You can go on their website, rebelnews.com, I think.
Yep.
And you can also go on humaneventsdaily.com with Jack Posobiec. He had a team over there covering the event. They were detained actually for a little bit while by the Swiss police, and there was some controversial stuff that happened there. And they have a lot of very interesting videos. So, yeah, I think that's basically it.
Yep. And I do want to say one more thing. The WEF, these guys want to completely bypass national constitutions and national laws. Like they're putting international law above the Constitution, and above
natural rights, people's natural rights,
and all that. So it's like that is scary stuff, because the U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the United States, just like the Canadian Constitution is the supreme law. It's not the World Economic Forum law and policies that they're pushing, and people need to know that. Like people need to really understand that. Like your representatives are not Klaus Schwab or Zelensky or Trudeau. It's Joe Biden and other. Well, it's not Joe Biden because he's a fake president, but it's American representatives. It's not international people.
Right.
So just take that into consideration.
Yeah, because the Constitution says, I think it's Article 2, Section 2, it says that any treaty with foreign nations need to have a 2/3 Senate majority. They need to vote on it. Mm-hmm. So the president or any president of any nation can't just go make treaties and sign laws with other nations without the consent of the representatives of the people of their country.
That's right. And you know how we fight back against this? By supporting and electing nationalist patriots in our countries. That's how we fight back against this. America first, Canada first type people, not globalists like Joe Biden and Justin Trudeau. So
yeah, exactly. So there you have it, folks. that will be the show for today. Keep roaring the truth. Keep standing firm in the faith. Above all, know Jesus Christ and follow him. That is the best advice I could ever give you. And stay joyful, and we will see you next time. Thank you for watching. God bless you, and God bless America. And God bless Canada.
Hey.